Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a 2024 Polaris Slingshot SLR, a vehicle I am saying is the gateway to a motorcycle addiction. And I can say that because I drove this one 100 miles back from the DFW Metroplex just to get it here for you to review. What is living with one of these things like? Well, stay tuned. I see this thing as the gateway drug to motorcycle addiction, not because I can see the ground underneath me or I can see my wheels up in front of me, not because this thing is open or that I'm wearing a full face helmet, but because when you want to, you can just send yourself out like that and rev it out and go. My goodness, this thing will move. We have a 2-liter 4-cylinder under the hood, and well, I'll run you through all the details. Powering this 3-wheeled motorcycle of sorts is an engine that was new for the 2000 model year that carries over again here for the 2024 model year. And yes, you can see very interesting and unique opening hood to expose that. In fact, that hood was about a $2,000 option with all of the louvers and vents and cool designs. So yeah, that is a very interesting look and gives a little bit of a peek to this 2-liter ProStar 4-cylinder engine. It is an iron-lined aluminum block 4-cylinder making 203 horsepower and 144 pound-feet of torque, routing all of that power through, yes, you guessed it, a 5-speed manual, though an automatic is optional, and sending power to the one rear wheel, which is, well, larger than the front too. Now, I did say that I drove this over 100 miles back from Dallas to get it here to East Texas to test it for you. And that was a great initiation. And I say that jokingly. Hours on the interstate at Texas highway speeds, open to the elements, never having driven a motorcycle before, never having driven anything quite like this before. We just got out of the Mazda MX-5 Miata, which would be the closest competitor or alternative to this, I guess. But in that, you don't have this Wrangler-like doors-off experience. You don't have all of the other experiences that come with this vehicle. The fact that I can see the wheels up in front of me. The fact that there's only one back behind me. This is a vehicle unlike anything else I've ever driven or ever even been in, and it makes for quite the impression. I had plenty of time on my way back from Dallas to get acquainted with its behavior, and I'll go ahead and tell you, on the road, it's really not that bad. The suspension is obviously firm and going over bumps now, but it's not killing me. It's not absolutely beating me up. Is it a super plush ride? No. But is it like a go-kart where you feel every pebble underneath you, even though I can see them? No. So I'd say the ride is actually quite compliant, and that really gets into some of the things that they did to make this feel like it does and, well, look like it does. Let me take you on a quick tour of this thing. Styling of the Polaris Slingshot SLR is very interesting and unique to this one. As I mentioned earlier when talking about the engine, this hood with all the gaping holes and the louvers here over the fenders was a $2,000 option on this one. Otherwise, it's a more solid unit, but I think it absolutely makes this vehicle look even more sinister and menacing. When my mother-in-law saw it, she called it the Batmobile, although I'd say it's the wrong color for that. But yes, it is a very, very interesting looking 3-wheeled monster that it has a lot of features here on the outside, including LED lights all the way around, in addition to that center LED light. So we've got a lot going on up front here, but yes, LED lights all the way around. And I don't know if you noticed earlier,
a front latch hood that just about anyone can get to. The wheels on this, all three of them are exposed, much like a motorcycle, on which Polaris really claims that this still is on their website, a motorcycle. We have staggered width, staggered sized tires on this vehicle. We've got smaller ones up front and larger wheels in the back, or larger wheel. I just gotta get used to that reviewing cars, but we've got 18-inch wheels up front here, wrapped in Kenda radials, and then the one lone rear tire that's responsible for all of the traction is a 20-inch unit, still a Kenda SS radial. You can see we have disc brakes all the way around, though there isn't a lot of mass to stop with this. Like I said earlier, it's around 1,800 pounds, even with me on board. So not a very heavy vehicle, not a lot of mass to move around, and it makes for a very interesting ride. I can say the look, the design of it, you can't talk about the inside without talking about the outside. You can't talk about the outside without talking about the inside, because it's all one. It is a very interesting and unique unit. You can see we've got brake lights and turn signals back here, but our third brake light is right here. We do have a backup camera back over the rear wheel, so you can't actually see where you're going in reverse. You can see the shock absorber sticking out there for that rear suspension, and all the way around a very, very interesting look. And one thing that really surprised me once I got it home was just how wide it is. It's right at 70 inches wide up front here, which makes it like a passenger car. It is very wide up front. It fits in our single bay garage doors, but it is very easy to see how it's going to fit as you're pulling it in, because again, the inside is the outside is the inside. And we can talk about that oh so briefly. These are the base seats, though you can get heated and ventilated units as an option. They're comfortable enough. Like I said, I did 100 miles in this coming back from Dallas. You can see we've got analog gauges with a digital helper screen there in the middle. And we've got a head unit here with Apple CarPlay built in if you're using a Bluetooth headset, because again, they consider this a motorcycle, to the point that, yes, you've even got to wear a helmet under all circumstances. So there you go. We do have some storage behind the seats here. We have speakers behind the seats and down in the footwell, which is a very nice touch, but definitely makes these a nuisance at the beach, where you see them most often, or at least where I see them most often. You hear them before you can see them, because everybody's always blaring their music. People driving these want to be seen. These are fully manually adjustable seats that are a little snug to move, but when you do, you've got just under 4 cubic feet of storage space divided between 2 behind the seat cubbies. So just enough place to store and lock your helmet when it's not in use. And you can see it is lockable, and then just slide that back in place. But yes, there's not a whole lot to this vehicle. It's really all about the driving characteristics and driving dynamics.
So yes, there's nothing conventional about this. Sure, there's a steering wheel. Sure, there's 3 pedals underneath it, and manual transmission here. But it's a totally unique experience. It's a hybrid of all the best sorts. It takes some of the best aspects of motorcycle life with some of the comforts of car life and blends it perfectly into this package. I've got this head unit here with Apple CarPlay. I can play my music through the Rockford Fosgate system and be a nuisance on the road if I wanted to be. I've got full digital gauges right here in front of me, which is very cool. I'm sitting in a very comfortable sitting position, and I could opt for heated and ventilated seats so I could be comfortable no matter the weather. Thank God he blessed us with some rain ever since I got this back, because driving this back was a little warm. I have a single zone climate, but no controls. It's the climate around me. What you see is what you get. And for the most part, here in summer in East Texas. It's miserable. But as we're approaching sunset, I see it's 72 degrees out here by the lake, and it's actually quite beautiful outside of this full-face helmet. Some other things I learned on my trip back from Dallas. While yes, this has a decently powered 2-liter 4-cylinder engine under the hood and a 5-speed manual transmission, I'd say it's 1 speed too few. As somebody who drives a 6-speed manual daily, and as somebody who drove this at Texas highway speeds, this needs a 6th gear pretty badly if you ever intend on using it for anything other than what I'm doing right now. Because my entire 2-hour drive home on the highway, I was at 4,000 RPM, which really strained what could be some amazing fuel economy in this. I'm seeing 23.8 as I'm driving this right now, but if I was able to cruise in 6th gear, I would have been able to get 40, 50 mpg, maybe even better. So this really could use a 6th gear as an overdrive, if nothing else. But this, not the highway, this is this vehicle's happy place. Curving corners and really exploring the boundaries of curvy back roads in East Texas. Just enjoying the drive, enjoying the ride, enjoying the 72-degree weather. I can see where so many people love motorcycles, because this open air experience, this one with the road feeling, is something you really don't get in most cars. As much as I loved that MX-5 Miata, this has been a much more engaging experience all the way around, because I feel much more at one with the road, no matter how much Mazda's engineers want to make that Miata one with the road. Now, this isn't exactly perfect. The brakes, I don't believe they're power assisted, so you have to stand on them if you really want to stop. But again, you aren't stopping a lot of mass in this thing, so it does come to a stop rather quickly. And then there is traction control, but there's only so much that one cedar rear wheel can do if you get into some crazy scenarios. So all these things are just kind of playing in the back of my head. Sure, I've got 2 wheels to point me in the direction I want to go, but if traction breaks loose on that one tire, you're kind of SOL. I'm on straight pavement. I can see behind me, I can see in front of me, nobody around. Put it in 1st gear, mask down, let's go. Burn that rear tire. This thing will rev all the way up to 8,500 RPM, so it will kill. And Polaris claims 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. That was a first experience for me, for sure. I really do enjoy this, though there are some compromises that had to be made in a vehicle such as this. If you want to see more reviews from us, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified every time a new video drops. Find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, I'm going to enjoy this thing and the cooler weather for what little time I have left with it. Until next time, gearheads. Bye. Let's go!